Yo, what's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something that's been popping up a lot lately. And no, I'm not talking about that weird app you can't stop scrolling on. I'm talking about mushrooms. From the fancy shiitakes in your stir-fry to those little wild ones you find in the forest, and some that'll take you on a wild trip, mushrooms are seriously underrated. There are like over 14,000 different species of mushrooms out there, but don't go around eating random fungi, alright? Some will make you dinner, some will make you trip, and some will just straight up kill you. Yeah, nature's got a dark side. But today, we're talking about psilocybin mushrooms, aka magic mushrooms. These little guys are the cool, mystical cousins of your average grocery store mushrooms, and trust me, they've got stories to tell. So if you're ready for a trip, mentally, not literally, unless you want to, let's break it down. And hey, before we get started, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and share this video with your friends. So, let's kick things off with a quick intro. Psilocybin mushrooms are these little guys that grow all around the world. They're like the Gandalf of mushrooms, mysterious, powerful, and not afraid to mess with your perception of reality. These bad boys contain psilocybin, a compound that messes with your brain and gives you all those wild psychedelic experiences. Picture this. You take one of these little caps, and next thing you know, you're trying to figure out the meaning of life by staring at a tree for 3 hours. Yeah, it gets that deep. Alright, so you're wondering how to actually consume psilocybin mushrooms? First off, remember, this isn't a snack run at your local grocery store. We're dealing with powerful stuff here, so don't go wild and eat them like you're munching on popcorn at a movie. There's a bit of art and science to this, so listen up. People who had experienced it says, don't just eat them raw if you're not ready for that earthy taste. It's pretty bitter. But hey, you can always make tea. Just chop them up, steep in hot water, not boiling, and add some honey or ginger to make it taste better. You could also grind them into a powder and toss it in smoothies or capsules if you want to skip the taste altogether. And if you want to feel the effects faster, try the lemon tech method. Crush the mushrooms, soak them in lemon juice for 20 minutes, and drink. It'll kick in quicker and stronger, but it can be intense, so be careful. Now, dosage is key. Start with about 1 to 2.5 grams of dried mushrooms. Or for a microdose, go with 0.1 to 0.3 grams. Always start small, especially if it's your first time. And remember, set and setting is everything. Be in a chill, safe place with people you trust so you can enjoy the experience without any surprises. Okay, now let's talk about some real-life examples of how people are using these mushrooms. First off, psilocybin's not just for the psychedelic crowd anymore. There's some serious science going down here. Check this out. Researchers at places like Johns Hopkins University and NYU are conducting studies showing that psilocybin might actually help people with anxiety and depression. Imagine that. In one of the studies, they had cancer patients who were struggling with anxiety and fear of death take psilocybin in a controlled, therapeutic setting. And guess what? Many of them reported feeling less anxious and more at peace with their situation. Talk about a mind-blowing life change, right? But it gets even wilder. You ever heard of Michael Pollan? He's the guy behind The Omnivore's Dilemma and Cooked. This dude decided to take a deep dive into psychedelics, and he documented his journey in his book, How to Change Your Mind. Pollan had never tried psychedelics before, but after doing some trips with psilocybin, he came out the other side with a whole new perspective on life. Like, this guy was in his 60s and said it helped him break through some old mental walls he'd built up over the years. He's not the only one. Tons of people are finding that psilocybin helps them bust out of mental ruts, especially when it comes to depression or feeling stuck in life. And for you, history buffs out there, you know that psilocybin isn't a new thing, right? Indigenous cultures have been using these mushrooms for centuries, like in Mexico where they've been a central part of religious ceremonies. The Mazatec people, for instance, call them the flesh of the gods. Imagine that, a spiritual experience where you're having a chat with the divine, using mushrooms as your bridge. Sounds like some next-level stuff, huh? But it's not all about deep thoughts and spiritual awakenings. Psilocybin's being used in real-world therapy now. Take the story of a guy named Bill Richards, a researcher who worked on the first-ever psilocybin clinical trial at Johns Hopkins back in 2006. He was part of a study where they used psilocybin to help people with terminal cancer who were dealing with anxiety. After the study, many of these patients said the experience completely changed their relationship with death. They were no longer afraid. They were at peace. That's mind-blowing, right? Now, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. As with all powerful substances, there's a dark side. Some people have what's called a bad trip. This is when things get intense in a way that isn't fun. Think panic attacks, fear, and seriously questioning your life decisions. Not exactly a good time, but hey, it happens. That's why set and setting are so important. You've got to be in a safe, calm environment and be with people you trust, or else you might end up convinced that the carpet is plotting against you. Yeah, not ideal. Okay, so before you run off to grab some shrooms from your local forest, just a heads up, psilocybin is still illegal in a lot of places. Yeah, it's one of those don't try this at home situations, 'cause it's classified as a Schedule 1 drug in many countries. But the cool part is some cities are starting to decriminalize it, like in Denver or Oakland. So who knows, maybe soon you'll be able to pick up some psilocybin at your local dispensary alongside your CBD gummies. Fingers crossed. So, what's the takeaway? Magic mushrooms are more than just a crazy party trick. They've been used for centuries for spiritual exploration, and they're getting more attention for their potential mental health benefits. But like any powerful tool, you've got to respect it. You don't want to just go tossing shrooms in your backpack and calling it a day. Know what you're getting into. Alright, that's it for today's deep dive into the world of psilocybin mushrooms. If you learned something, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Spread the good vibes and knowledge. Otherwise, I'll just sit here questioning my own existence, wondering if this video even matters. Catch you next time.